Yo, what is up guys? Back with another video. If you are new to the channel, my name is Theo Clough. I've generated almost $2 million online. And on this channel, I'm sharing information that I've learned on my journey to be the strongest, richest, smartest version of myself that I can be. So if you like the sound of that, click the link to subscribe down below. Reading. Guys, if you'd have asked me 10 years ago when I was 15 years old, do you think you'll be making YouTube videos about reading books in 10 years? I would have said absolutely not. I remember back at school, we used to have this thing called Fiction Library. For Fiction Library, you read fiction books, believe it or not. And what you had to do is you had to pick a book, and they were all fiction books, Harry Potter and that. I didn't want to read no Harry Potter. You used to have to write a 200-page book summary at the end of it. When it came to the book summary, I just went on Google. Obviously, I wasn't reading them books. Believe me, yeah, we used to sit there for a full hour like this, full class full of people, and I would look at everything but the words on that book. Absolutely everything. Because I hated reading and I saw no point of it. I just thought reading was for nerds, and I thought if I don't enjoy it, I don't want to do it. What a silly young boy Theo was, the younger version. Look, reading is an essential as an entrepreneur. All the problems that you are facing, there is a book out there with a direct answer. Every now and again, you will stumble across a book that literally flicks a switch and it sounds like it's explaining your exact situation. And the power of that in your life is absolutely crazy. And look, I'm going to share with you in this video some of the books that made a genuine change in my life. But let's get one thing straight. Reading is not for your enjoyment. Yes, it can be, but if you want to self-develop and you want to actually earn skills, reading's mandatory. I'm going to help you actually get into reading and how to actually pick a book that you're actually going to enjoy reading. And look, I went from selling on market stalls, taking sales as £2, £5, £3, £1, to running a multi-six-figure business online. And the way I was able to do that was I was able to take myself out of my area mentally. What I mean by that is I'm from a small town, a village to be specific. Now, what you will find is if you are from a small town, and you will relate to this if you are, you have a certain type of small thinking mindset in there. So unless you're actively searching to expand your mind or learn new things, then you can stay trapped in that mindset forever. Now, what I did when I was very young, I started searching for the answer elsewhere on the internet. And all the top entrepreneurs that I was watching were readers. Readers are leaders. Have you heard that before? And I started watching these guys and I started thinking, well, there must be something in this. And then I started looking into books and I realized there are books for every single problem that you have. Now, the first book that I ever read, and this is what changed the game for me, and this is Self-Development 101, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The reason why I say this book has been the most impactful on my life is because this is what opened me up to reading. Because I saw such a profound difference after reading that book in my life, that is what really hooked me on. And that is what I tell anybody who doesn't read. Buy a book around your insecurities or weak qualities, apply it to your life, and once you've actually seen the difference in your life, what you're going to do is you're going to get hooked and you're going to realize there's something in this. And the more books I read, the more benefits I get. So How to Win Friends and Influence People is a book about communication. I've always been a good communicator. I've never been shy, really, but I was definitely too abrasive. And especially when I first started my own business and I was spending a lot of time on my own and I was just hungry for the money, working all the time, always thinking about myself, I became quite a selfish person without realizing it. I cannot imagine what people used to think about me because I used to just talk about myself over and over and over again. But because I was so interested in what I was doing, I thought everybody else was equally as interested. But nobody cares about you if you're just talking about yourself all the time. So How to Win Friends and Influence People really taught me how to meet strangers and get them to open up to you and actually like you as a person. It teaches you about the qualities that you need in communication. And the reason why communication was so important for me is because when I went into my first monk mode, now I did my first monk mode back in 2018 and it was kind of a monk mode, but it was more just like sit on your own and work your face off. But what I was doing was, I was doing a lot of mundane tasks over and over for years. Shipping out orders, listing stuff on eBay, when I was really starting out and getting the cash together. And what this led to was me locking myself away for long periods of time. I did it so much, I did actually start making money. I started making real money for the first time. The first profit and loss account I ever did for my business, I was making £10,000 a month. Now that sounds pretty crazy, but I was just that busy hustling. But that actually made me very sad inside. And the reason for that is I thought the money was going to be the answer to unlock my life. I used to think that as soon as I start making this money, that's going to change my lifestyle within itself. But my problem is I burned away all of my communication skills. So I used to just sit and work on my own for hours and hours and hours on end, 7 days a week. And if it sounds depressing, it was. And I remember specifically, I used to go to the gym every single day and I wouldn't even talk to people. I'd see the same people every day and I wouldn't even say hello. But I used to think in my mind, if I walk up to that person and say, "Hi, how are you?" they would look at me like, "Who is this guy talking to?" Because I spent so much time on my own, my mind was so idle that I just burnt all my communication skills. And I used to trick myself into thinking, this is just because you're hungry, this is because you're hustling. But no, I had a bigger problem than what the money would have fixed. So even though I was making all this money, I hated my life. And that was because of poor communication skills. So How to Win Influence and Influence People actually taught me how to communicate properly, but do it in a way that's favourable to the other person. And that had the biggest effect on my life. Now, I have the other books here, but I don't have How to Win Friends and Influence People because I gave my copy away. And this book I've actually bought for multiple people. If you have not read this book, this is a must. If there's one thing that you do from this video, it is read that book. It's Self-Development 101, and it's the reason why it's the most popular, because it's the best. Now, the second book for me, which is the most impactful, and I do really think that this is where I built my drive and hunger from, and I was really able to direct it in the right places, and that is the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. This book is about bigger thinking. The main concept behind this book is to 10X everything. 10X your thinking, 10X your actions to get 10X results and really start thinking bigger. And when I started thinking bigger, I started doing more action and I really took my mind somewhere else. My goal was somewhere else and I surpassed the restrictions I had on my mind. That's what really changed it for me. Again, look, I'm from a small town. There's no big thinkers where I grew up. So unless I downloaded this mindset from somewhere else, I never really had that drive and urge. And it really taught me about being able to set targets that are 10 times bigger and not just expecting 10 times more results, but adding the 10X rule into everywhere. And that has just been a concept that's stuck in my mind. I always thought 10X, 10X, 10X. 10 times harder when you're training, 10 times more volume on social media, whatever it is. 10X rule. That is what really got my thinking bigger. It changed how I thought about business and how I thought about life in general. So if you've got a small town mindset, or you've been from a small town, or you're not really thinking big enough, or you're struggling to have the confidence to think bigger and think why you deserve it, 10X is a great book to read. Now, the final books, I've classed this as one book, but this is actually 3 books. Now, these are books by Russell Brunson. Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets, and .com Secrets. These are a digital marketer's secret weapon. These will bring you up to speed on how digital marketing works. Now, I'm not just saying you need to read these if you want to get better skills at making websites. This is not what it's about. What these books are going to do, they are going to let you be able to see how people are making money on the internet. And what you'll realize is a lot of this educational style content that you're watching, it all leads to something. It all leads to a funnel and you understand the inner workings of each. And by understanding the fundamentals of digital marketing, you're actually able to look at other people online and see the way that they're making money without them telling you. So whatever content they're putting out, you can actually see what they are doing. And it's going to give you a better A to Z understanding of how digital marketing works. It's going to bring you up to date on funnels. It's going to bring you up to date on marketing funnels, how some of the best entrepreneurs have been making money online, and how you can actually apply it to your own business. Now, this isn't just for e-commerce entrepreneurs. A lot of my knowledge was around e-commerce because that's the business that I went into. But what you're going to find is these apply to all types of digital businesses. And when you really upgrade your mindset to be able to see how people are making money online, what you're able to do is you're able to break down what you see online. So when you're able to break down because you've studied the fundamentals, you can study each one, and then when you piece it all together after you've studied it individually, you're going to have a much stronger fundamental base of knowledge. And then when you're looking at it and trying to build something for yourself, that's when it's going to really make more sense for you. Look, that's it guys, and I want to finish off by saying these have been the most impactful books for me. because I've chosen the route of entrepreneurship and I've picked up a book that surrounded the things that I was struggling with, which were my social skills. But what I would suggest for you is buy a book around your insecurities, whether that's training, whether that's making money online, whether that's building a personal brand, whether that's your communication skills, whether that's picking up women, whether that's organization, whether that's habits, whatever it is, pick an area where you are struggling at, because that is where you're going to see the gains from reading the book. And that is what's going to flip a switch in your mind. And another thing I want to add, don't just rely on your discipline to read. Set up your environment to do so. So if you're getting home and you've got your remote next to your chair and you're watching TV when you get back, but you want to read, well, that remote shouldn't be there, should it? Put the book there. Add something in the way of the time wasting that you're doing and actually start reading. This is a fundamental step in your self-development. All good entrepreneurs are readers. I know what you're saying. I would read, I want to read, but I get distracted. Look, I get distracted too. The purpose of reading, we're trying to extract golden nuggets. We're trying to extract information. We're not just reading for entertainment. This ain't no Harry Potter. We're trying to extract information to use for ourselves. It's very tempting to sit down with a book and think, well, I've just got this mundane task of another hour of reading. That is not what we're doing it for. You need to focus with this. The best way to actually take in information, much better than anybody else who is not doing this, is to sit down, take the book, get the audiobook version, get some noise cancelling headphones. Highlight the book where it's making sense, highlight the points that stand out, and if you are really trying to get autistic about it, take a sheet of paper or open a Notion document, record each chapter and write down your findings. Because then what you're going to find is you can actually refer back to your findings from that book when you want to refresh yourself and you are reading the standoutish points that you've learned. And when you're doing that, you're really going to cement it into your mind. And you're going to get way more knowledge and depth out of reading one book. Because what you're going to find is someone who just speed reads and doesn't really remember much 10 times compared to you that's really taking in the information and really studying that book and applying it and referring back to it one time, you're going to see more benefit. And I hope you go and find a book around an insecurity or a skill that you want to upgrade. Even if it's just one book, 20 minutes a day, just do it till you finish the first book. Apply it to your life. Let me know how you get on. See you on the next side. Subscribe to the channel down below.